Um, Hello everyone, and I know, you're welcome for the terrible voice, but I'm sorry, yeah, I know the mic is terrible, and it is gonna be terrible, so, please excuse me for that, but I have to discover something crazy, okay? I am going crazy, so I know I should be like, trust me, I was studying, I was literally doing the practice questions for electromagnetic waves, okay, but and I suddenly, I had like some doubt and some issues, so I played the video of Emerson, and you know what, like, forget it, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I stumbled upon this video. Let me share my screen. Please ignore the audio. I know it's crazy, but yeah, I wanna show y'all something, okay? So yeah, I got so many answers, so I just want y'all to like watch this video with me, please, okay? Just I am going crazy, okay? Can we just please watch this video?
So you are a three-dimensional creature in a three-dimensional world.
I'm gonna play it in 2x, okay? It's just
What? No, this can't be happening again. This is a dream.
so this is basically a dimensional analysis till the 11 dimensions. So it's this video. Just it like did something to me. I'm gonna tell you what. Okay.
This is a dream. In the fifth dimension, that could be true in one of the many branching timelines. But fortunately for you, my fabulous friend, I'm here in the flesh to tell you all about the 11 dimensions. Now that you've pulled yourself together, here's the point. It has no size, no direction, it cannot be measured, and technically cannot be seen. It has no width, no height, no depth, no length. It's simply a location, but it doesn't have an address. But this is where everything starts. Every shape, every object, every galaxy, every failure in your insignificant life all starts by stacking directions on top of this lonely little point. In coordinate geometry, we place this point down as the origin, 0, 0, 0 in 3D space, or just plain 0 in simpler setups. The point is infinitely small and isn't made of anything. It just is. Okay, but if I can't see it or measure it, does it actually exist? That's a philosophical question, not a scientific one. So you don't know. You're asking a bird whether a mathematical abstraction is real. We're both doing our best. In summary, the point is where everything begins. Now, let's get out of this void.
First of all, I like to say this channel is underrated, like just 2K subscribers. I'm sorry, I think you don't choose this channel chooses you, and yes, specifically this video, because this video is like great.
He's making me itchy. How do we do that? Move that point in any direction. Congratulations, you just invented direction, distance, and the entire concept of somewhere being different from somewhere else. This is the first dimension. Meet the line.
Okay, so this is a line, and this can be this is literally the whole lifeline and timeline of that one dot. Like, if you were to say it that way, it's like a bunch of dots, and that dot which can exist in every, possible time and position. I mean, time is not a concept here, but in every position it can exist, okay? It's about that point. Okay, so since we're talking about one dimension, it only limits it to just before went backwards. So this is an infinite line, which is like a laid map of his whole lifetime, which is just from some down bottom part to the infinitely upward part. Point. Okay, so this point, it's the roadmap of this point where all the possible places it could have been, but it's like it could have been, but then it is there, like simultaneously existing at all those points. If you feel me what I'm trying to say, this will like help us in the later dimensions. Okay, just trust me on this. Okay, calm down, buddy. Okay, okay, we have a viewer. Okay, I was not expecting anyone to be here, but thank you for coming. So yeah, let's continue with our video. And I'm so sorry for the terrible audio quality. Trust me, I only have I have limited sources right now, resources. So please excuse me for that. I think viewer left. I'm gonna leave a emoji type reaction, okay? I'm sorry, I wasn't viewing the chat. Anyways, yeah, let's continue with the video.
And only length. You move forward or backward. That's the full list. There is no sideways, there is no up, there is no escape. If you lived in one dimension, your entire universe would be an infinite line. Mathematically, the first dimension is clean and elegant. Describe any location with a single number. This is where x equals 5, or 10, or 10 billion, and we don't yet know why. Get it? We don't know why, because we're in the first dimension. Interesting. That just worked on my first dimension. Anyway, just give me one number and I know everything about your position. Physicists love this. It's effortless. It's also, in terms of interesting things that can happen, basically nothing. You need at least 2 dimensions for things to get complicated. So, off we go. Now you put both x and y. Your line can now be pushed sideways or perpendicular to itself. It sweeps out a surface, a plane, infinite in 2 directions, and I present to you the second dimension. Now you have width and length. You can go left, right, and forward, backward. A 2D universe is a flat sheet extending forever, and creatures living inside it are flat shapes. Triangles, squares, circles, hexagons, sliding around on an infinite table, bumping into each other and living their flat little lives. But here's the thing about 2D creatures. They cannot see each other the way we would see them. From inside a 2D universe, you can only ever see the edge of another shape. If a circle and square are standing next to each other, the circle doesn't see a square. It sees a line. Everyone looks like a line. The only way to tell 2D creatures apart is by subtle cues, like the angle of their edge or the texture.
Okay. So this is also a very important point. Like, listen. So what this tells us is that we all can like look same and like in every physical aspect, but we can be different in like we can be different dimensionally. I mean, we can be different if viewed from another dimension. You know what I'm trying to say? And that is true. And okay, I'm gonna sound a lot crazy because this video is going to be a little crazy. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna sound a little crazy. Okay, so guys, don't worry. But yeah, just hear me out. So this is us, but you know, we are okay. How am I supposed to put it in words? So like, we are all people, okay? We're the same thing, and I'm gonna prove it in the end of the video, okay? Just trust me. And the only thing that will tell us apart is if we were viewed from another dimension, and that another dimension being time, okay? And later this video, we will discover that time is the 4th dimension. I mean, it is considered, 4th dimension is considered, time is considered 4th dimension, according to Einstein, right? So like, yeah, people do consider time as the 4th dimension, but yeah, we can consider it. So yeah, so if we were to look at any person, we're just born at different time and place. So according to like science, time is not single quantity. It is attached to space, so it's space-time basically, right? So it's like a fabric. So if there's a person, if it's me and it's you, okay, so we're like completely same, but the only thing that differentiates us is that you are born and raised in different space-time, and same goes for me, okay? So it's the little slightest change. Like we were both a bunch of proteins, genetic proteins, right? We were just not, like we were those sperms, and then we met the egg, and then technically something happened that even made us gender-wise different. Like there was a possibility I could have been a man if only I got a Y chromosome, but I didn't. I got the X chromosome, right? So the only thing that makes us different is the space-time, okay? The time and events. I'm gonna get into it later. So in the end, I'll just it's gonna blow my mind. I mean, everyone's mind. Okay, I'm not a very good, Okay, I'm really excited. Also, I have ADHD, so please stay with me. I'm trying to prove a point here.
Of their surface. However, the second dimension gave us everything visual. Maps, diagrams, hieroglyphs, the Mona Lisa, every screen you've looked at today. It is staggeringly profound for a universe with no depth.
Yeah, and also, can you see the 2-dimensional creatures can actually create a projection of 3D things, okay? But we're not actually 3D things, and only a 3D person can view it. Like only a 3D person can view the the arrangement of the particles of the 2D world arranged in such a way that it creates a painting image, or like a high-quality painting which appears 3D, okay, which understands the depths and the shadows part. which like sort of understands the concepts of the 3D world, like shadows and whatever, but at the same time they don't know and they can't even see and tell. So this tells us that we can project higher dimension, but we cannot see that we're projecting it. We can just like hope we are if we know the maths to do it, right? Like if the 2D particles know the exact coordinates where to be and for which color coordinates. Actually, color won't be thing for 2D particles because it happens due to the reflection of the light and photons. So I don't think color would be a thing for two-dimensional creatures. But I think, oh yeah, color can be a thing. So they cannot exactly project. But like it is a thing for 3D creatures, right? So if the particles arrange themselves in such a way that even the photons are like, acting up and proper light is, getting like proper light is getting absorbed and proper light is getting absorbed, of the correct wavelength, then we can actually see a 3D, projection, like a sort of painting. You feel me? This is a very complex system. It has to be a very complex system. And the 2D creatures can't possibly know they did that. So, it can also be, it can be same for us. Like, we are a complex, okay? We are a system. So, we can also be arranged in some way that some fourth dimensional being would be like, oh, okay, it makes sense. We might be forming something like that too. That's why, oh my gosh, what this means? This means that, mass gathering and, when people come together, form a complex, and they chant something, or they do something, they, do certain movements, and, yeah, they dance, or like whatever, they create sounds. They're sort of creating a pattern, and that pattern can reflect in the fourth dimension in some sort of way, like we can project a fourth dimensional thing by organizing in a certain way. And we probably might not know, but if we know the basic math, okay, this is a very complex thing, okay, and this can like sound beyond science, but it's actually not, but it is beyond human capacity and human brain capacity. So, yeah, so, like, I think this kind of like scientifically proves all the demonic and cult shit that people do, because they are sort of creating a moment which might be, sort of, how do I put it in words? It's sort of like creates such pattern that, reflects in the fourth dimension, and like it interferes with the energies and type shit. Okay, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Actually, I don't know. Anyways, let's move on with our video.
Diagrams, hieroglyphs, the Mona Lisa, every screen you
I want to like delete this video and like come back and make a video on this video again when I have better resources and maybe a better research.
that today. It is staggeringly profound for a universe with no depth. But if you poke a finger from 3D down into a 2D plane, the flatland resident sees something terrifying. A cross-section that appears from nowhere, changes shape, then vanishes. To them, you'd be a god, a shape-shifting entity from an impossible direction.
Okay, let me check if the sound is actually... Okay, it is. Cool. So, yeah, the concept of God. Again, it all brings us back to the concept of God. So, yeah, that also, like,
They build mythologies around you. Is this where you go when you're not tormenting me? Off to the third dimension. And we're back home, the third dimension.
Okay. The things that cannot be explained by a human brain, they're sort of like things that actually, that cannot be described by physics of our 3D world, right? So if some acts like that are done, it's, oh my gosh, I have a crazy video to show you all. Like, I found it on Twitter, and I'm gonna like show it to you. Don't worry, I'll show it. And it's like the exact correct depiction of 4D POV sort of thing. Like if you were a 4D thing, then this is how you would see things. That was like a really great demonstration. I'll show you.
The world you've lived in every single moment of your existence. 3 dimensions means length, width, and height. It means objects can have insides and outsides. It means you can walk around something. It means spaces and depth perception, and the fact that when you reach for a glass of water...
Okay, I need a little bit of water, so I'll be just right back. Okay, I'm back.
You actually touch it. The 3rd dimension is why everything you've ever loved exists in a form you can interact with. Your coffee mug is 3D. Your dog is 3D. Every one of your physical interactions requires the 3rd dimension. 3-dimensional space has a specific, deeply non-obvious property that makes it uniquely suited to complex life. Many physicists argue it's the only number of spatial dimensions where you can have stable orbits, and the inverse square law of gravity, and knot theory, and the kind of neural wiring that produces a brain complex enough to wonder about dimensions in the first place. 3 is the specific, narrow, almost suspiciously convenient number that allows matter to form, stars to burn, planets to exist, and life to emerge. The universe didn't have to do this. It could have stopped at 2. It could have gone to 4. It chose 3. Or physics chose 3. Or 3 is the only number that works, depending on your philosophy. That's actually really interesting. Not as interesting as the next dimension. Have you ever had a moment where the waiter brings you your meal and says, enjoy, and you say, you too? It becomes really awkward, and you start staring.
I also have another theory that most of the 3D stuff that we see, like, not exactly see, but which are little stuff, they can be like parts of a 4-dimensional thing that, they're interacting with the 3D world. So, they're like constantly interacting. So we think they're 3D, but they're actually just part of a 4D thing. It can be like that, okay?
Off into the abyss, trying not to make eye contact while thinking, I really wish I could go back in time and take that back. Well, that thought was brought to you by the 4th dimension. You've been moving through it since before you were born. You're moving through it right now. You cannot stop, you cannot slow down, and you most certainly cannot go back. The 4th dimension is time. Not time, the vague cultural concept, but time as a literal physical axis. Einstein's relativity tells us that space and time are not separate things. They're one unified fabric called space-time. Every event in the universe has 4 coordinates. 3 telling you where, 1 telling you when. Your address in the universe isn't just a place, it's a place at a moment. Change any coordinate and you're at a completely different event. Here's what time as a dimension actually means. For instance, if there were a completely hypothetical 4D being, someone or something that could perceive time the way we perceive space, they would see your entire life as a single object, not as a sequence of events unfolding one after another, but as...
Yeah, okay, so this is a very important point again. So this is exactly what I said when we were talking about the point and the line. So, the point is, a point, right? And a line is just a bunch of points in all the possible, right? At all the possible times that it could have been. Like at t equals to 0 seconds, it could have been at the bottom, at the deepest at the bottom of the line, right? And at t equals infinity, it could have been at the top of the infinity, or like at the infinity of the line. Okay, so we're like seeing a map of the point at different timestamps, and again, time is not alone. It comes from space. So the space and that coordinates occupying that particular time, for instance, is the line. And it's also one more thing. So the same way a 4-dimensional being would see our whole life as a map. Okay, it would be able to see it as a map. Okay, so it would be able to travel back in the time, forward in the time, just like we can go like up in the line and back in the line and trace every every exact position of the point where it has been. Like at t equals to 2 seconds, we know it was here, and we actually don't know. But our time concept is a little bit different because for our time, it stayed there forever. But for the dot's point of view, for the dot's perspective, it could have, it was at time. Again, it's a very complex thing. So even time can be different for different dimensions. Yes. So for example, imagine the dot is actually traveling and it is experiencing, it's growing, and it's like moving in this infinite line and keeps moving. So it has a lifetime, okay? So it is experiencing movement, and it thinks, okay, and for the dot, it can only experience that particular time. It actually can't do any of that because it's taking a point, and it doesn't have, time as a, what do you say, of measurement because it's just a point. It doesn't have the dimensional. It is dimensionally limited, okay? But we can observe time, right? We're also like dimensionally limited, but we can at least move forward in the time. So yeah, so we actually know that point, at all the possible points the point has been, and at all the possible times. Okay, so we see the whole map, including the time. Okay, but it's constant for it's not moving. We don't see the dot moving because it shows all the possibilities of it being there, and sort of not being there. So if there's a line, there's some being there. If you don't see a line, actually the point is still there, but it's not there because there's a possibility it could not happen there in that time. So if you see a line here and you don't see a line there, that also means something. But if we introduce two dimension, we can know that when it was not there and when it was there. So now we know. So if we have two parallel lines, we're still talking, like, oh my gosh, are we still talking about the dot? We're still talking about the dot. Imagine it, the dot with the line, okay? But then it has another reality where the dot was not in this timeline but in another timeline. So now we have another dimension in which we can see the dot's lifetime. So now we can know, like, from this in this plane, the line was not only in this coordinate but in this coordinate. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, okay, this is a very complex thing. Okay, wow, my mind is rushing. It's brainstorming time, guys. Come on. Okay. So let's get back to our video.
One thing, all at once, your birth and your death, and every Tuesday you ever experienced completely laid out. To such a being, asking where is this person would be meaningless without also asking when. You need 4 coordinates or you have nothing. The light from the sun takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach us, which means we see the sun as it was 8 minutes ago, not as it is now. We never see the present. We only ever see the past at a distance determined by the speed of light. The now we experience is not the universe is now, it's a bubble of past light converging on our retinas, which we call reality. I think I need to sit down. So, our reality is in the past. A square is 2D, a cube is 3D. What's 4D? The tesseract. It's a 4D hypercube and an infinity stone. Oh, what? Never mind, off to the 5th dimension. Everything up to the 4th dimension is real, in the sense of being directly measurable. You can move through 3 spatial dimensions, and you're being dragged through the 4th. These are physical facts. From here, we enter the theoretical and speculative.
Okay. And I love theoretical physics. Come on. It's literally so great. Okay, so the thing about the theoretical physics is literally can be... This kind of sounds religious, if you think about it like that. Like in Scientology, theoretical physics might be religion. Okay, I said bullshit. Okay, can you just cut that out? Okay, I can because this is live, but if you think about it, theoretical physics is literally, it's theoretical physics. And it makes so much sense. Like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe we are capable enough to think all this. Wow, human brain is, 3D has to be my favorite dimensions of all time. Like, it's not too much and it's not too much, it's just perfect. Come on.
5th dimension is all possible timelines branching from your universe based on your choices. Every decision. It's the same game of chess played from every possible opening move simultaneously. This is the what if dimension. What if you went right instead of left? New timeline created. What if you kept that from
Okay, so 5th dimension is very... Okay, this is very important. And this is a very interesting one too. Just feel.
The fifth dimension is all possible timelines branching from your universe based on your choices. Every decision. It's the same game of chess played from every possible opening move simultaneously. This is the what-if dimension. What if you went right instead of left? New timeline created. What if you kept that engineering job instead of dishonoring your family by becoming a YouTuber? New timeline created. What if your father came back from that milk run, leading you to becoming an emotionally stable human who feels love instead of spending day after day feeling that dead feeling inside with oodles of alcohol and ketamine? New timeline created. A five-dimensional being would see all these timelines all at once. They would see the job you didn't take, the conversation you didn't have, the time you got catfished, the time you got ghosted, the time you got catfished, ghosted, submarined, then ghosted again. In the fifth dimension, they all happened and did not happen. They exist as distinct.
Exactly. It's all simultaneously happening and it's all simultaneously not happening. So if you can see something, if you can see a line, and then you should also know that the places that where we're not seeing line is also a thing. It's the absence. And in an alternate reality, it could have been the opposite, just like the absorption spectrum and the emitting spectrum. You feel me?
Paths through a higher dimensional space, each one a complete universe with a complete version of you living it out to its conclusion. That five-dimensional
It's like knowing what happened and knowing what will not happen and could have happened.
being looking down at your universe would see not just your timeline, but all possible timelines branching from the Big Bang. A vast branching structure of every way your universe could have developed, all coexisting as different positions in the fifth dimension.
And imagine someone can see, being able to see it all, like the whole roadmap of everything just laid down. Imagine that.
So there's a version of me that's doing really well? For you, unlikely. Now off to the next dimension we go.
Okay, it's fun too. I like this channel a lot.
All the possible timelines branching off every choice you've ever made. The sixth is where you take all possible 5D timelines, every version of your life, and treat them as one single point. Then you connect every possible history of the entire universe to it.
Okay.
It's where you take all possible as different positions in the fifth dimension.
We're moving to the sixth dimension now.
So there's a version of me that's doing really well? For you, unlikely. Now off to the next dimension we go. The fifth dimension gave us all the possible timelines branching off every choice you've ever made. The sixth is where you take all possible 5D timelines, every version of your life, and treat them as one single point. Then you connect every possible history of the entire universe to it. It's not just what if I became a dentist or a gigolo anymore. It's what if Earth didn't exist, or what if currency was bottle caps, or spheres lit by divine magical energy. In the sixth dimension, every conceivable set of physical laws exists at once. There's a universe where pi is just 3 because no one understands irrational numbers. There's one where entropy runs backward, light is a liquid, sound is flammable, and your taxes are paid with emotions like regret and despair. The sixth dimension is the complete phase space of all.
Study. I'm not studying, Shani. I'm not exactly studying. We did not read the video title.
Possible histories our universe could have had, from any conceivable origin point to any conceivable conclusion. Every version of every timeline, every possible past, and every possible future, all mapped as positions in six-dimensional space. Here's the staggering part. Your existence, specifically you, with your particular face and your particular memories, required an almost incomprehensible chain of specific events. Every ancestor meeting every other ancestor at the exact right moment, across millions of years of history. Change.
Imagine that. Okay, can you just sit down and imagine this happening? No, we can't, but that is insane. Okay, I need water again. Okay, so here we go again.
One meeting, or have one person eat the red and white mushroom, or get eaten by a leopard, and you don't exist. In most timelines of the sixth dimension, you specifically are not there. You are one of the rarest things in the multiverse, a specific person. And you got here by a chain of luck so long and so precise that it makes the chance.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many fucking realities out there in the world where humans don't even exist. And we're not humans. Okay, X theory, okay? We're gonna need to talk about X theory too.
That winning the lottery looked like a sure thing. So, I'm special? No, you are cosmically improbable. I'm choosing to take that as a compliment. Everything we discussed so far assumes the laws of physics as we know them remain the same. Same speed of light, same gravitational constant, same rules for how quarks bind into protons. In the seventh dimension, you take every possible 6D infinity of universes with different timelines and treat that as one single point. Then you connect it to another completely different 6D infinity, one where the fundamental constants are very different or might not exist. We find universes.
Okay. This is getting so fun.
Where gravity is stronger or weaker by orders of magnitude. Universes, one where the fundamental constants are very different or might not exist. We find universes where gravity is stronger or weaker by orders of magnitude. Universes where the strong nuclear force is calibrated differently, so atoms either can't form or form in configurations you wouldn't understand. Universes where the speed of light is different, where Planck's constant is not a constant. Physicists think most of these universes are
So, there could be a place where Rocky could actually exist simultaneously with humans. Something like that. Rocky Film Project here and there.
empty, but not empty like.
See, this is why it's so fun, because it again tells us that everything is possible. Even if you don't know, if you don't see it, if you don't feel it. It is happening, or will happen again. If you don't know.
Not much going on. Empty like physics plays out for a fraction of a second and then nothing interesting ever happens. Stars require a very narrow window of physical constants to form. Atoms require a very narrow window to be stable. Life, even in its simplest form, requires a window so narrow it almost seems designed. The seventh dimension contains every possible set of starting constants for a universe. Most produce nothing. A small fraction produces structure. A fraction of that produces stars. A fraction of that produces planets. And a fraction of that produces the conditions for life. This leads physicists to debate whether the constant being life-friendly means something, or whether we simply live in one of the rare universes where the constants work out, because those are the only universes with anyone in them to notice.
Wait,
Seventh dimension contains every possible set of starting constants for a universe. Most produce nothing. A small fraction produces structure. A fraction of that produces stars. A fraction of that produces planets. And a fraction of that produces the conditions for life. This leads physicists to debate whether the constants being life-friendly means something, or whether we simply live in one of the rare universes where the constants work out, because those are the only universes with anyone in them to notice. Doesn't that kind of answer itself? Congratulations, you now understand the anthropic principle. I'm feeling very smart right now. Enjoy it. We're going to the eighth dimension next. So around the fifth dimension, you probably thought to yourself,
wait. So you need to sit down at this point.
brain hurts, or what a bunch of poppycock flummadiddle steaming pile of nonsense. Well, you should have held those thoughts. Welcome to the eighth dimension. The eighth dimension treats every single 7D infinities of different physics megaverses as one single point. Then it connects that point to completely different 7D infinities, ones that aren't just different laws, but different ways of having laws. In simple terms, the lower dimensions let you explore what if this happened differently. The eighth dimension and higher let you explore what if reality itself was built on totally different foundations. Let's say you're a former neurosurgeon turned master of the mystic arts. In the eighth dimension, you'd see connections between sets of universes that don't share any common starting rules or math. It would be pure chaos. A universe where stars never formed. A universe where everything is made of noodles. A universe where you can divide by zero, and one where zero can divide by you. Up doesn't exist. Time flows backwards. In string theory frameworks, the eighth dimension is also related to specific mathematical structures describing how the extra dimensions are
It all can be possible, like everything can be possible.
compactified, curled up into shapes below the Planck scale. These shapes determine the physical constants of the universe we observe. Some physicists argue that different compactification shapes equal different universes. So it's not nonsense, it's math. Isn't that the same thing? Touché. The ninth dimension. This is where even I, your intellectually gifted navigator, struggle to explain things in a way the human mind can understand. But here we go. Just as we did in the lower dimensions, take every single sprawling 8D infinity of universes and realities and treat them as one point. Now connect that point to a completely different 8D infinity of universes and realities. Keep connecting until we have the massive framework of the ninth dimension. What we get is indescribable chaos. In the ninth dimension, you're navigating between entirely distinct modal realities, whole towers of 8D structures that don't share any common ancestor, no shared notion of beginning or end, and no agreement on the laws of physics. Structures for which your language has no words, because nothing like them exists in this universe or this reality. Everything that can exist exists, whether you can imagine it or not. A nine-dimensional being would see all of this happening at once, completely laid out like a map on a table. In string theory and related physics, the idea
Imagine that. Let's let it sink in.
of higher dimensions is different.
Actually, we can't. We can't.
Most versions require 9 spatial dimensions, plus time, making 10 total, or 10 spatial dimensions in M theory, 11 total. Those extra dimensions are tiny and curled up, invisible to us, and are needed mathematically for the theory to be consistent. They cancel out mathematical problems like infinities or anomalies. They aren't about branching possibilities or multiverses in the same philosophical way. They're compact spaces where fundamental strings vibrate to produce the particles and forces we observe. My head hurts. As it should. If you understood any of this, you're either lying or you're secretly my boss, and this is a performance review. The 10th dimension. This is our final stop, and where mathematics stops. In the model we've been building, and in string theory, which requires exactly 10 dimensions to be mathematically consistent, the 10th dimension is the point of completion. Here, you take all 90 infinities and treat them as one point, then connect it to nothing. You are now at absolute infinity. All possible universes, all possible physics, all possible starting conditions, all possible timelines, all possible histories, all possible configurations of anything that could exist in any form under any logic as a single, complete, unified mathematical object. It doesn't exist in anything, because existing in is a concept from inside it. There you have it, all 11 dimensions. In the 5th dimension, there's a version of the solar system where the sun is replaced by a black hole or a neutron star. Want to know what would happen to Earth? Of course you do. Check out this video now.
Oh, wait, it doesn't say anything about
this happening at once. It's not math in a philosophical way. To any of this, and where mathematics stops. In the model we've been building, and in string theory, which requires exactly 10 dimensions, possible histories, all possible configurations of anything that could exist in any form under any logic as a possible physics, all possible starting conditions, one point, then connected. The 10 dimensions to be mathematically consistent, the 10th dimension is the point of completion. Here, you take all 90 infinities and treat them as one point, then connect it to nothing. You are now at absolute infinity. All possible universes, all possible physics, all possible starting conditions, all possible timelines, all possible histories,
And that was it. That was it. Wasn't that crazy? And now I'm going to tell you how it explains the egg theory. If you are not aware of the egg theory, let me show you. So basically, Kirk is okay. I don't know how to pronounce that. Hold on. However you pronounce Kirk is that like y'all know that channel, right? So it like once told the story about the egg. Okay, the story of egg. Y'all can like Google it. Basically, it came from a Hindu mythology, and it says that imagine you died and then you wake up and then you remember you got hit by a truck, but then there's entity in front of you and he's telling you that yeah you died, and then you're like oh my gosh, then where am I? Is this afterlife? And he's like, not exactly, and then he tells you that now you will be incarnated, and like what will happen to you, and then you realize okay, so I've been incarnated before, and he tells you yes every time you get incarnated, and yes you ask him like, are you the god? And he's like, yeah, sorry, we can call me God. So now the god-like entity, he like shows you like there what's gonna happen to you. So first your memory is gonna get erased, and now you will be reincarnated into whatever the being, okay? And then he's like, okay, so what do you want me to incarnate into? And then he shows you, okay, now you will be a girl from 600 AD, whatever. I don't know how exactly remember, but yeah, like from the past. And he's like, oh my god, so you can like send me back into the past. And he's like, yeah, time is only a limitation for you. You are the, inferior beings. I'm not. So yeah, of course, time is a limitation for us humans, not for godly figures. So yeah, that's how we get incarnated again and again and again. So he asks like, so how many times do you have to do that? And God tells like every time, like, until you're mature. So like, what do you mean mature? So he tells you that you will be incarnated until you have had all the human forms on the earth, and then you will be matured as something, and then you'll become like one of me. So yes, am I God? Like no, you're my child. So that says that we are the children of God. That's what it means by that. It doesn't mean you need to like please him or whatever. I mean, yeah, sort of, but like yeah, the whole thing about this life, it's very philosophical, whatever. But yeah, it's like the whole thing is very thought provoking, and yet the dimensional analysis we just did, it just proved that yes, the egg theory is real. We are incarnated. That means you and me, we're the same, but just under different space time. I just proved it, right? So you and me are literally the same. Like we originate from the same point. We're literally the same point, but with different directions and dimensions. Like I just told you what happened, and then you died, and then you were reincarnated. Like you were just moved to the. Do you know how it's all happening? And I don't think someone is doing it, but I guess someone sort of is. But this is a simulation. I don't know what this is. This is a very complex thing. It's reality, and it's crazy. That's why I am literally so speechless, and I'm like, my brain is literally rushing, and I don't know what I'm feeling, but yeah, that's basically it. So you and me are like literally the same being, and that's why we have like sympathy, because we are the same. We are. How am I supposed to like say this? We're not even the same. We are like we are we like we are one. We are one thing. We're just traveling, across different space time. You feel me? The only difference between you and me is space time. You were born in this year and this place and this time at this event. That's the only difference. That's all covered in space time, right? If we coincide all the fucking, you know, things, elements, whatever, everything, like if we like superimpose everything, then it's me. It's literally me. And it's you. Whatever. We get the same thing. Imagine the fertilization occurring in the exact same way, like from like dot to dot, the same sperm penetrating the same egg at the same. It's all about the time. So yeah, we are the same thing. Even twins are different because the identical twins are very close to being, the same thing, and they kind of literally are, but still are separate entities. And the slightest thing just gave them the whole different life. So, oh my gosh, so they're like basically, oh my gosh, the twin paradox is crazy. It's literally them living with them, but like literally a fraction of the fraction of the fraction of the second, and the position and the space-time difference. Like, oh my gosh, that is crazy. That is crazy. Okay, this is insane, yo. This is honestly a little creepy. But yeah, I told you the theory of egg. And yeah, we did the dimensional analysis again, and again I'm gonna sadly say that we're dimensionally limited. And everything, like all our problems can be solved by math. Yes, it's all math. It's literally all math. It's math. It really is. But the thing is, all the problems can be solved theoretically. Like anything, magic, impossible, like miracle, everything can be explained by math. Because, like, someone has a tumor and it just can't be, someone has any terminal illness and it just can't be treated, but like miraculously gets, vanished. It means that there was some interference from some another dimension. So it is technically possible, but it's not in our control. We can't even observe it happening, but we can only see what happens after it interacted with us, or the moment it interacted, like the consequences. That's all what we can observe, and also the only ones which reflect in our own 3D world. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Yep. We are dimensionally limited again. Can't do, but the thing that we can think about it is crazy. Yeah, and every problem can be solved mathematically, but mostly theoretically, because we don't have the, dimensional power and freedom to, fix everything, because we are dimensionally limited. I'm going to say that again and again, because we are, and I feel very sad that Also, less is more. You should be happy. If we were like four dimensional, imagine how much crazy it would have been for us. Another headache, to be honest. Like, oh my gosh, you did this wrong, and this time now you have to go back and fix it. There's no rest. Okay, could have been fun too, but I think we should just take a moment and appreciate our 3D world and like how we're lucky to be born in this simple yet very extremely complex dimension. Third dimension is the best. It's literally the best. I'm gonna like clip it. Well, let me clip it real quick. Hold on. So, can I hear it? Mm. Okay. So I'm gonna clip it and publish it. Third dimension is the best. We are so lucky. And yep, the create button. Oh yeah, I kind of posted it. Anyway, so yep, let's just feel very lucky and grateful for being born into the third dimension as a third dimensional being because it's really amazing. We got the perfect, not the much, not the extreme, not the less. So this is why I'm very grateful, and I think I'm gonna end the video here because it's morning and I think I should probably get to work. So thank you so much, everyone. Let's appreciate our 3D again and be thankful. Yeah, it was a great journey, right? Okay, this video was very, very good. I thought it's gonna be like longer than I expected, but yeah. Okay, wait. I wrote something. Let me address those points too. So yeah, again. So the kind of notes that we concluded. Let's conclude everything. Okay. So 10th dimension. Actually, not 10th even. It's like 5th or even 4th. No, like 5th dimensional definitely proves the egg theory right. And literally everything is possible. Every fucking thing. And it's happening. And it has happened already. I feel so. Sometimes I really feel so dimensionally trapped. It's low-key crazy. Anyway, so first we proved the egg theory is real. That means Hindus were right. I'm Hindu. Yeah, I'm not promoting anyone, but yeah, come on, I can like just be proud. So yeah, that's the thing I like about mythology because sometimes I just it's very thought-provoking. So okay, and everything is coexisting as it could ever be. Like everything is happening the way you can possibly imagine and possibly cannot imagine. Cannot imagine. Okay, like everything is happening already. It happened already, and yeah, which is not happening is also happening, and which is happening is also not happening, and we're all the same thing. That's why we feel the sympathy towards each other because we literally are the same thing, just different at different space time. Like that's the only difference. I explained it in the video. Okay, you feel me, right? That's the only difference. So that's why we should be kind to everyone. Okay, so if you're being Read Rudraya Malatantuhans. What is that? What is that? I don't know what that is. Let me Google it. You know what? I think like Hindu mythology and Hindu the Hindu people, they have like, or ancient people, they have like discovered a lot. I think they used to think a lot. We were the thinkers, you know. Just like the Greek ones, we did a lot of thinking, and we actually did pretty amazing work. But I don't know what happened to this world now. All we do is like casteism and racism, just political bullshit. Let me Google it. What is it? So it's known as the, what is it? It's the most important Sanskrit text. So what is it about? Like the truth of the universe? What is it about? All the best. I feel the, I know you, oh my god. Congratulations on failing JE. Be really proud. You know why I'm saying that? Because JE wasn't meant for you. Okay, if it wasn't meant for you and you didn't get it, be great fucking fool. Be happy. Because now you actually have the chance to do what you were made to do. You know, there are only, just remember this thing, okay? There are two most important days in a person's life. The first day is them being born. It's called a birthday, okay? And the second day is when they truly discover themselves. Like they truly discover who they are, their identity, themselves. Okay, so these 2 days are very important. Just keep that in mind, okay? And the day you discover yourself, everything will change. Okay, imagine I'm not gonna be a motivational speaker or anything, but yeah, we were at some like text, some ancient text. What is it about, like the universe? And honestly, oh my gosh, and yeah, like another one thing I wanted to tell is the information. Like we can literally change anything. The information is what makes us different. If we know something that we are not supposed to know, okay, so how life works, how we get something, like all those books like called Secret and everything, like manifestation, it actually works, and there's a reason for that, because life is possibilities with probabilities. Okay, so it's literally all the possibilities with probabilities. Okay, so you need to pick a possibility for your life path. Okay, you need to pick a possibility, and that possibility can be, in layman words, can be career, can be a lifestyle you want to live, can be a type of person you want to be. It can be anything. Okay, so you have to orient yourself into that, and then the probability is that what are the chances that of some events. My leg, ouch, okay, my leg is gone, of that, okay, of the events related to that possibility that you choose to work towards, because this is how it works. Okay, you're working towards something, so you're like opening the portal of events for that possibility. Okay, so you're attracting all the events which are related to that, possibility. Okay, because it comes with a set. Okay, you're choosing the deck of the cards by working towards it. Okay, like even the idea of it is enough to start. And then you can increase the probability of getting stuff by actually working towards it on manifesting it, but like you need to actually work in order to do it. It's like pure math. You need to do work. Work done should not be zero, okay? So actually, work towards it in order to actually attract it. And the more you know, the more, events and the more events you pass, you need to move forward towards your goal because the more events you pass, like you fail, it means you're like canceling all the events, like moving forward. And now there's a probability of getting your goal, reaching your goal or event. You're increasing, okay, because you are like surpassing all the ones in which you're not getting them. So you are basically right now traveling to multiple realities. Every event you participate in, every decision you make, it's taking you to another reality, okay? And the same version of you is coexisting, which has surpassed that opportunity or, who did not make the decision, okay? So it's simultaneously happening. So you're like saying goodbye to the version who just decided not to do what you just did, okay? So if I decided to, say do this, I literally lost my one version which did not do that. So see you later. I don't think I'll ever see my version of not doing this, okay? But yeah, it's all in the past. And that's why we can never go back. Wow. And yes, time machine can never be invented. It can never be. It's never gonna get invented. Or even if it is, it's like so far in the future that it probably won't even come back to this generation or whatever we are, this civilization. I think we will be like erased and then erased again and then erased again. We will be undiscoverable because nobody came to visit us, right? So yeah, and I don't think it's impossible for three-dimensional creatures like us. So yeah, because we can't time travel. But our consciousness can. Oh yeah, our consciousness can. And again, we get back to my same fucking theory, my original theory, the theory of everything. The theory that explains everything that I already have on my channel. It literally explains that if you virtualize everything, it's it. We can travel back in time too. We can literally wait. If we like digitalize everything, not digitalize, but if we like turn our world virtual, we can actually create multiple realities because we can't change the fundamentals. So we are sort of, oh my god, this is fourth dimension exactly. You play a video game that is fourth dimension. Actually, just a little more advanced features, and where you can like have access to every frame of the whole timeline. Okay, so wow, because we can like relive the same life of a character in the video game. Okay, so again, the video game theory is proved. Okay, so many theories are like getting proved here. So I think I should just clip this one too. I'm gonna clip this one. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I extracted the clip too again. Yeah, I think I should end the video. Oh, it's been 1 hour. Okay, I think I should end it. So yeah, I was kind of going crazy and I needed to talk about it and let it out. And I don't think I'm gonna make it in the NEET exam, but let's see what happens, okay? Let's see. If some fourth dimensional entity wants to help me, feel free, okay? They were not actually. So yeah. And also, the higher dimensional, like the much higher ones, like the sixth, actually, yeah, sixth, seventh, eighth, and all the upper, they don't really care about us or our existence because I think they're like so tiny and so insignificant that we just can't even be detected by those level of dimensions. So, okay, what is this thumbnail, yo? Like, what is this thumbnail? Like, I clipped this clip, right? Okay, this one's like okay, but what else? What's? I'm not liking that thumbnail. Anyway, so let's get back to work. It was good coming back here, and yeah, it will be. Look how long my hair has grown. Crazy, right? I think I should just go. Thank you so much, everyone.